So we've got the caliper off. We've stripped basic bits. We've got some of the bolts out. So these are two-part calipers bolted together, two separate hydraulic circuits. So we have a line coming in here from the car, pressure applied there, and then a link pipe that brings hydraulic fluid across from the inner set of pistons to the outer set of pistons. We've got 4 pistons, and then you have to bleed each side individually. So I'm going to take Lottie here through just rebuilding them. So we're just going to strip them down before we clean them. First things first, we have to take the link pipe off. So Lottie's going to do that with your 11mm cranked spanner. So lefty loosey, that's it. Actually, I'll take that. So on the caliper on the other side, the link pipe was unfortunately damaged and the nuts were unrecoverable, so we had to cut it off. And then we're going to use some fresh pipe here, some new nuts later on to make a fresh link pipe, so they'll be all happy and ready to go. We weren't happy with the damage on here. That looked like a rock had hit the bottom of the caliper there, so that's not good, and from a safety point of view we want to make sure that the brake circuits are all sealed and safe to go. There you go, pop that in the tray, nice and clean, and then we've got to split the caliper. So you undo these bolts here, so I've already loosened these. Nice.
That is out.
There we go. Right, so I've got 2 halves of the caliper. I'll go in there for a minute. And then I'll get the airline ready. So we've got, just make sure that this bleed nipple's done up tight so it seals that end of the caliper. And then we're going to put an airline in there to push the pistons out. I'm just going to get the blocking tool. Yeah, so we block the larger piston because that moves easier. I'll try and fire the little one out. And then we can put the little one in. So take the knockback springs out. So that one can move quite easily. So that's the big one out. Again, comes with a spring. And then this one should be loose enough that a quick blast. Get it out, just like that. So caliper stripped, and now we can finally take that bleed nipple out, which will probably get replaced. Because they're pretty badly damaged. Yeah, that'll definitely get replaced. So that's been rounded and it's gone rusty. I thought they were all stainless, but clearly not. And then the last bit is we get a pick on these seals. I said on the last one before, do not touch the inside of that bore with a pick because they've got a special coating on to make them slippery. So you just want to be piercing into the rubber and then just levering on there slightly and pop out like that. Should I give it a go with the other one? So I find it easier if you hold a bit of pressure on the caliper and then you can dig. Don't be afraid to dig into the rubber. Bingo. There we go. So let's strip the other side as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing left to take off that now.
Oh yeah.
Bingo.
Sweet.
Right, so now we can wash all this stuff. First, we can go in the scrap. It's not worth washing. We'll scrap those as well. And the nipples. So I believe we have fresh ones. Yeah, plenty of fresh nipples. I need to pop that one out as well.
Okay.
That last nipple out.
You're going to throw the nipples away from the other one as well?
Yes.
Because I did end up cleaning them all.
Oh no, that one's brand new. That's nice.
There was another one that looked pretty. That one.
Oh yeah, that's mangled.
I need to get the things.
Throw these bolts away as well.
These ones too.
Yeah. And then the seals will keep. Just leave that stuff in a pile there for now. And then go wash all these.
Yeah.
Take them over to the wash tank. Right, so it's a rear caliper we've already stripped. These differ in design because they've got a single part body rather than a 2-part body. The front calipers here, and then they've obviously only got 2 pistons, one either side of the disc rather than your 4 there. Because the rear of the car, when you brake in a car, a thing called weight transfer happens, which is all the mass of the car is loaded onto the front axle because you're slowing it down and it's got inertia travelling forward. So the front of the car gets loaded, the front tyres actually get loaded, which gives them more grip. So the front tyres can do more decelerating, which is why brake calipers on the front of cars are bigger than the rear. Hence this is a hell of a lot smaller. These pistons are a lot smaller. The pads are like a third of the size because the rear of the car can't really do much. Once you've braked and the weight transfer is happening, the rear brakes can't, the tyres physically can't do much, which is why you see rally cars lock up on the rear quite a lot. And when they're coming in hot to a corner, the rear will lock up a little bit with no weight on, so there's no grip on the tyre.
Okay.
It doesn't take much effort to lock it up. So yeah, these are a lot more simple caliper, although you just experienced a little more complicated to pull apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main differences really. In construction, they've got I think they're a magnesium alloy forged, and then all this detail's machined. So you've got a cap in here that's inserted afterwards, and that allows this all to be line bored in one hit. So the machine will come through and put both bores for the pistons in, and then machine a bit for the cap. I think these rear ones are actually ambidextrous, so the fittings here are the same whether you put the bleed nipple on or the brake input line. So the hydraulics are all internal, whereas the front calipers are definitely not. You've got one side that's got the mounting holes on, and they're left and right because, as I said before, you noticed that the pistons are a different size.
Yeah.
So you've got a bigger leading piston, so the hydraulic fluid, the pressure builds up a little bit quicker. Sorry, smaller leading pistons, the fluid pressure builds up a little bit quicker, and the brake pads actually contact like that onto the disc. So the pad that touches the disc first as it comes round touches on first, and then you get a little bit more modulation on the brake pedal like that, because the pads aren't just coming in square. You don't get all of your braking effort at one go. You get an ever so slightly angled difference on them, and that's all to bring control and precision to the braking of the car, because these calipers are so stiff, and the way they're mounted on the car, and then you've got all the braided lines everywhere, means you don't get any squidge or modulation like you do in a road car brake pedal. So the pedal's really stiff, but you need that modulation so that when you're braking, you can actually feel a little bit of a difference as they build up as a driver. So that's the big difference between the front and the rear, really. I mean, to be honest, the rear's only really used for the handbrake on this car. It doesn't do much anyway. Once you turn the bias down, there's not much effort on the rear brakes. So yeah, those are the big differences I think between front and rear. Happy?
Yeah.